I suppose we're looking at things equally, but I have to admit that when I see Nvidia moving up below it, David, I don't think they can. They just can't. You are unable to keep up. What do you think about the stock's notable recovery over the last, let's say, 4 sessions? All right, so I believe that a publication published an article over the weekend. I won't name the publication that claimed that the hyperscalers and giants would be pushed back if their main product, Blackwell, was released too late. As I stated on the day the report was published, I have not been able to confirm a single word of it. Many individuals replied, and those who were in favor of it said right away that it wasn't a demand issue. Therefore, you just sell more H100s at a very large margin, even if Blackwell is delayed. But you believe that the stock was impacted by that. Yes, I do. It was kind of. Well, you guys have been around. And sometimes stories come out that generate a commotion, and they're really difficult to check out because it's a quiet time. You see, VI and I get along really well. That's something I've been proud of for years. I take pride in the fact that they refuse to divulge any information to me. You say, well, you know, guys, I just need to verify. Or no, we're in a quiet period. After they say, listen, we're in a quiet period. And eventually, you see that they aren't moving because that's not who they are. When that essay was published, they were a weak, pathetic giant, much like the U.S. under President Nixon at one point. And I believe that's what got it. In the interim, you received this Foxconn earnings beat, profit up 6, which reiterates the full-year guide, the need for AI services, and the GB200 remark. Indeed, that is a pretty costly piece, but it looks like development is proceeding as planned, don't you think? Although you can't deny that tale, I believe that when you see things like that, you can't help but wonder, well, why did some publication come out and say that everybody is going to be hurt by this being off track? All I've been told is, Jim, it's on plan from the last time we said it. Nothing's changed, but we can't talk about it, which has left me feeling quite upset. Are we now back in Blackwell? The reason for this is that Blackwell had devised a plan, and they were merely ensuring that I wanted to. They make no mention of shipping in bulk. They didn't say it. They're going to send in bulk. So all of a sudden you have this straw man. As it happens, they are running late, and this will hurt Google considerably more than Cramer did. Jonathan Cramer for a confidence. Nvidia keeps growing. Well, it will be necessary to stop some of the shorts. The shorts must try Nvidia. Some of their articles are critical of Nvidia. They discussed Blackwell's negativity. When they mention that everyone who purchases their products is struggling, I respond, well, Meta is the biggest buyer. How is the stock of Meta doing? How are AI and Meta doing? Mark Zuckerberg came to the conclusion, you know what? This will be won by me. I will prevail in this. And why do you believe? Everyone believes, after all, that, oh, Amazon has to spend because of Google. No, they will tell you offline that they must spend money in order to stay up with Mark. One feels as though, oh my God, you know what? I must catch up with Mark. People aren't just sitting here saying things like, we need mutually assured destruction of our bottom lines. Just this guy mentioned Meta AI during his conference call, and nobody who has been on it since has returned. To the remainder of it, here Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. A huge discount is being offered, but only for the first 100 orders. Nvidia's stock is now risen over 15% from its August lows. To learn more about what's happening, let's go on to Dominic too. Good morning. Okay, so that Nvidia trade has been a massive bounce, Carl, and it simply illustrates the entire mega-cap technology Mag 7 type trade. So let's give you some background by looking at Nvidia's stock year-to-date. A huge surge higher, of course, but the bounce you've been witnessing here over the past week has also been a huge rise higher, as you mentioned. Let's now examine the trades made by the top 3 performers in the Mag 7 mega-cap deal over the past week. Your 3 greatest gainers on a 1-week basis in the Mag 7 transaction have been Nvidia, up almost 16%, Meta Platforms, up 12%, and Tesla, up roughly 5 to 6%. However, since Nvidia is one of the top performers on that big bounce, 1-week basis, it's a good indicator of a larger move in semiconductors, those computer chip companies. Take a look at companies like Super Microcomputer, which has increased 13.3%, Broadcom, which has increased 14%, and Micron, which has increased 13% in the past week alone. A few other companies are also contributing to the top semiconductor trades. Look at names like Lam Research, Applied Materials, K Corporation, and 12.5% increase. Thus, David, it gives you some insight into the leading edge of what has been recovering the most. We are aware, David, that some traders like to use the semiconductor trade as a potential leading indication for the remainder of the technology trade, and consequently, the larger NASDAQ and S&P 500 has been computer chips. So watch out for chips. I'll return the items to you. Joe's up 20% in a week from Nvidia. Will we once again be discussing Nvidia's incredible actions in such a short amount of time? I'm going to offer you a correlation that we looked at over the past 10 years, and it's this. The 10-year range of about 45 basis points occurs when bond market volatility is elevated, which I believe everyone would agree has occurred in August. In such an environment, where does the market likely to go? The sword and the shield is exactly what our friend Tony Pasquarel will explain to us. You'll discover that the meta caps do better in those kinds of high volatility situations, and the technology story isn't as important. The fact that Twilio is down 20% year-to-date, Roku is down 38% year-to-date, DocuSign is down 6% year-to-date, and Unity Software, which everyone used to adore, is down 61% year-to-date, makes it a mega cap story. It is a feature of the mega caps in an environment with high volatility. The sword and shield are involved. I'm grateful, Tony Pasquarel. Rob Nvidia, which is, I take it you're new to this group? Since you recently entered the pullback that we observed, I'm interested to see how you've seen this thing trade in your head. As you are aware, Scott, we purchased a half stake. We said that because we wanted at least some exposure, but we also believed that the name carried some additional danger. We watched it come very close earlier this month, but it fell short of the valuation we were comfortable with, which we were patiently waiting for. You know, volatility creates opportunity, we added, but you have to be ready to move. Therefore, we steer clear of companies in the top percentile of valuation. Coincidentally, we ended up purchasing the pricey stock we had previously sold. With a 78% gross margin, 65% operating margins, massive free cash flow, no debt, and a capex of only 1% of sales, this is one of the best technological firms in the world. We felt compelled to take action, don't we? And we actually bought it on the lows on the program that day, so we're thrilled with a plus 20% move. But who knows, we might have another chance. Finally, in relation to results, Nvidia is scheduled to launch on August 28. What are your thoughts on Medicap technology at the moment? And how significant do you think that earnings report will be? If I may use that word in your opinion, I believe it is. All of Nvidia's reports, in my opinion, must always be substantial. Given that the market's cap is at or close to its highest, I believe everyone is wondering if artificial intelligence is all that it's been made out to be. Businesses are adopting AI a bit more slowly. According to John Huss, the Goldman Sachs analysis stated that it was a little slower than anticipated. There may be more of a downturn there if that narrative gains traction and profits stop setting new records. Get your Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. A huge discount is being offered, but only for the first 100 orders.